Hi, everyone. Welcome. We're excited to host this event in partnership with Team Liquid today. We're super excited to talk to you a little bit more about IMC, the opportunities that we have here, both graduate, internship, as well as just making you a little bit more familiar with IMC and what it is that we do. We're going to start off with some introductions from all of the attendees and then go from there. All right, a little bit about myself. My name is Julia Talpos. I'm a university recruiter at IMC. I went to DePaul University in the Chicagoland area. There I studied human resource management. Previously, I worked as a project manager at CME Group, focused there on managing the technology internship program. I joined IMC this past May. My first time in a recruiter role. I'm definitely enjoying meeting students from beginning to end of the recruitment process. And some fun facts about myself. I'm an amateur food critic. I'm a Yelp elite, if anyone is familiar with that. And I was born in Romania. My family moved here in 2000. I'll pass it on here to Jacob.
Hey everyone, I'm Jacob. I didn't know that I was in the presence of someone who's Yelp elite. Very impressive. I'm a trader here at IMC. I'm a quant trader. I work on the equity options desk. Before that, I had a BA in economics from IMC Chicago. I joined IMC just over 2 years ago. And a fun fact about me is that I still have 4 baby teeth, and I didn't actually lose my first tooth until I was 12. And I'll pass it on over to Burke now.
Hey guys, I'm Burke. I graduated from IMC Chicago about 5 years ago, like Jacob. Traded at a small hedge fund out of school, doing the overnight shift, trading Asian markets. Made the move over to IMC August 2018. Since then, I have been a floor market maker in the S&P complex at the SIBO. I've done that a bit over 3 years for now. And yeah, fun fact about me, I've lived in 7 different states.
All right, awesome. We also just wanted to share this disclaimer here because this event is being recorded. So we'll just give you guys 15 seconds or so to read it. All right, I think we can go on. Okay, kicking off this presentation, we want to share a little bit of history on IMC. IMC was founded in Amsterdam in 1989. At that time, we were just a small group of floor traders with big dreams of becoming a global market maker, quickly realizing the importance of automation and with the goal of automating market making activity and staying ahead of the curve, we opened our Chicago office in 2000 during the tech boom. In 2000, we started on the floor of the Chicago Board of Trade Options Exchange, and it was during that time that we started to see a major shift away from classic floor trading towards automated screen trading. In 2002, we opened our Sydney office and began trading on the Asia Pacific markets. And in 2021, we have celebrated over 30 years. In 2019, we celebrated our 30th anniversary, and we're excited for all of the milestones that we have in the future as well. This next slide shows our global footprint. We're still headquartered in Amsterdam today. As a result, you can definitely expect to spend some time in Amsterdam. Once you join IMC as a full-time employee, that can be either through our global traineeship, or in other ways later on in your career, like supporting teams or projects, if that's of interest to you. In Chicago, we have our largest office. Our traders and technologists capitalize on all the interesting market opportunities in the US. We also see our highest volume in the US markets and the best opportunity for making profit. Our office is located in the Willis Tower, or some like to call it the Sears Tower. And we recently just went through an office remodel over the past year. So we have a really modern and unique view with beautiful views of Chicago. Sydney is our 3rd largest office. They manage all the Asia Pacific markets, like I mentioned previously. We don't have formal offices in the other locations, but we do have some major data centers there with several IMC employees, which is why those locations are included on this map. Having offices globally allows us to be present on all time zones, trading 24 hours a day. All of the hiring that we do for the US is for our Chicago office. As a market maker, we don't have clients or customers. Instead, we trade using our own capital. Our goal is to make markets, which essentially involve setting different buy and sell prices for thousands of different products across the markets, with the overall goal of providing liquidity. Providing liquidity means that we're allowing for more trades to happen. The bulk of what we trade falls into the option space. That's about 70% of what we trade, but we also trade the other products listed here as well. There are three major technology trends that we see within the high frequency trading space. First, we have software. Our software engineers actually make up our largest team at IMC and collaborate very closely with our traders to ensure that we're developing high performing, scalable, and efficient software. They also assist with writing code to help us analyze the tons and tons of data that we have coming in from the exchanges each day. Our software engineers are split into two teams, strategy and execution. Our strategy developers work primarily in Java, and our execution developers work primarily in C++. The next major trend that we have is hardware. Our hardware team is much smaller than our software team, but equally as important in reaching our success as a market maker. Our hardware engineers program in FPGAs using system Verilog to make our trades extremely fast, down to the nanosecond. Lastly, data transport refers to how we're sending and receiving data to and from the exchanges. Back in the day when we were a floor trader in Amsterdam, this was done through literal wires, but now we use much more high-tech means such as lasers and fiber optics. Our performance network and data and system engineers all contribute to our success again as a market maker. Go ahead and click one more time. All right, discover our difference. So oftentimes we're asked at different events or in different conversations what makes us different as a market maker, and we like to talk about all of these things. Our traders and technologists collaborate very, very closely and speak the same language. Globally, we're also using the same trading system, creating a really open and collaborative culture. We invest heavily in technology, more so than a lot of our competitors. And we also put the smartest people in the right roles. So you have a lot of say in your career here at IMC. All right, next I want to talk a little bit about our exciting full-time and internship opportunities. To start, I'll discuss our graduate program, which is open to students graduating between this fall and next spring that are looking to start a career in either February or August of 2022. Specifically, we're currently looking for graduate quant traders, quant researchers, software engineers, and hardware engineers to join us next year. You can find these roles posted on our career site. All of our new grads start by going through a global traineeship program. Specifically, this is 6 to 8 weeks, and it's formalized classroom-based training that's led by our traders and engineers across IMC. Additionally, a portion of this time is typically spent in one of our global offices, either Amsterdam or Sydney. As far as internship goes, at IMC, we're currently hiring for quant traders, software engineers, quant researchers, and hardware engineers. The internship program is 10 weeks long over the summer. You'll be involved with trainings, network events, social events, and those are all going to allow you to get to know your intern peers as well as full-time employees at IMC. We also have ample headcount to convert all of our interns into full-time hires. If you join us, you're starting the summer with an offer on the table. Receiving an offer, of course, ultimately depends on your performance throughout the summer. Some bonus perks of working at IMC. This is always a fun one. Free lunch every day, common theme, lots of food, free breakfast, free snacks, weekly massages. You get to work in the Sears Tower or the Willis Tower, onboarding in Amsterdam or Sydney, luxury apartments for interns, entirely free and fully furnished, of course. Company trips, we go on a company weekend trip every year, employee appreciation days, trading for charity. All of the revenue that we make on that day is given to a charity that we partner with. Happy hours, again, with food and drinks, and an in-house barista at your service as well. All right, passing it off.
Cool. So we've talked a lot about like what makes IMC great, but more importantly, what does IMC actually do? We say we're a trading firm, we say we're a market maker. What do these words actually mean? So what trading is, and like what being a high frequency trading company does, is we provide liquidity to the market. So we're willing to buy and sell at the same time. This means that if you're looking to buy a particular stock, someone may not necessarily be there ready to sell to you at that specific moment, but a market maker has a responsibility to be in the market at all times, willing to buy or sell to increase that liquidity for the market. We also provide pricing to the market. So questions like, what would this cost? Like, how can we price this like weird instrument? And so things maybe like vanilla instruments like stocks or bonds are quite easy to price, are relatively easy to price. But when we get into these like options or different combos of options, it becomes increasingly difficult to know what should the price be. And so we have people like us willing to buy and sell at any point, which gives the market confirmation that this is in fact a correct price. But also, like we are here to make money. We do need to be fast. So like when there are profitable opportunities, we do need to make sure that we are able to capitalize on the opportunities. These exchanges are all electronic. And so a lot of what we do in the electronic trading space is happening at times that are incomprehensible to any human. And so we have to have the right systems in place in order to get on the opportunities that we want most. Cool. So what does a trader do? There's a few different breakdowns in the responsibility of what a trader does. The first is sort of operational duties. So this would be like making sure that I'm safe in the market. Are my systems in the market? Am I actually trading? And also saying like, cool, this big trade came in the market. A lot of people are wanting to buy. What do I think the price of something is? If something is, like a big signal, how can I change things real time so that I can adapt and so that I can try to get edge in the market due to like these changing conditions? The next part is, aside from the operations, is quantitative research. So once we have systems in the market, we're making sure that we're safe. Really, the question is, how can we be the best that we possibly can? So that is working with developers and quant to have like better algorithms. It is doing analysis. We use a lot of Python. We use a lot of SQL, some MATLAB, like different things to be able to take the vast treasure trove of data and to be able to say, hey, like what is the actual, what's the actual best algorithm that we can put forward here? And this goes from like different projects. So sometimes I'm working on something that I'll finish in like an hour. And then sometimes I've got projects that take months because the amount of research and the amount of connections that you have to make is so hard. The other type of trading is broker trading. And for that, I'll pass it over to Burke.
Yeah, so broker trading, one of the smaller arms of trading within IMC, that includes live trading via a pit environment, which is what I do on the floor or over the phone. There were some questions in the chat. What's the relationship between a floor trader and a market maker? A floor trader is a market maker. They just do it real time, person to person, via voice trading as opposed to screen trading. And what we do day to day, we make markets, we provide liquidity, and we also manage our positions that we get into through these trades and the risk not only of the trades themselves, but how much inventory we have, what based on certain events, where our biggest risk, where are we most vulnerable. We try to manage that throughout the day. And then the market's dynamic. Every day is different. So we're always trying to improve our strategies and improve our operation overall. And just an example of kind of what we trade. As mentioned, we trade a ton of products across a lot of different asset classes, but options are definitely our bread and butter. And here's a quick example of option pricing. So options are a derivative instrument on an underlying, and buying or selling these options gives you the right to buy or sell this underlying at a certain price for a future date. Sorry if it's complicated. It's kind of the quickest breakdown, but here are some examples. So Netflix, well-known stock, it's trading at 560. 600 strike put option is worth $40. And that makes sense, right? So if Netflix is trading at 560, the option to sell Netflix at $600 should be worth $40. And these bets are made speculatively by different firms, but also uses hedges at times. But the bottom line, that price is going to change throughout the life of the option. So then in the case where Netflix drops $1, your put option goes up $1, and then vice versa for a gain. Long story short, options, their derivative nature, it's a really advantageous financial instrument for us to trade based on our technology and the smart staff we have. We can get more into that later, but long story short, again, options give us a lot of opportunity in the market due to the dynamic pricing and the good credit we get to take on these trades.
Cool. So as a market maker, we really do have, or as a high frequency trading firm, we really do have two responsibilities. So the first would be market making, and the other would be market taking. So put simply, like market making is the obligation to give a price to buy or sell at any point. The market making has like the idea that we're going to try to like provide liquidity, that we're going to try to find pricing. Market taking, on the other hand, is that example of capitalizing on these opportunities. If someone comes in and we find something instantly profitable, then we're going to take the market rather than make the market. We'll break these down a little bit further as we go through market making versus position taking.
Yeah, so breaking down what market making is, big picture, there are kind of three steps we break it into: valuation, risk management, and the execution. So valuation, the first kind of step in making markets, you need to have a value of what you're making a market on. So at IMC, we really believe in our technology and the people behind putting in the math and all the back work to giving us a value on our options. This includes a speed game because you want to get the fastest information from the market, and also some nuanced opinions on kind of how we feel the market's moving. And based on our valuation, we then make a market around that value, where I want to buy and where I want to sell. What the next step is the risk management of that trade. Why don't, in the chat, can you guys name some different risks you could think of, some financial risks to putting on a trade? I'll give it a second. I know there's a delay.
While they're waiting, maybe you can answer one of the questions. Someone asked if you're a beast at mental math.
Yeah, I like that. Yeezus Roy. I like your handle too, Yeezus. But yeah, the mental math part is pretty much the basis of the job. I had to do like 7 or 8 mental math exams before the final interview. So it was definitely a gauntlet, but mental math is a big part of it.
Yeah. I also see that, yeah, we have some people giving answers like counterparty risk and the Greeks. Someone even knows
wow,
the Greeks. Yeah.
Nice. Some options aficionados. I like it. Yeah, there's
sure.
Greek risk, counterparty risk, liquidity risk. We don't need to go down the whole line, but there are a ton of risks when putting on a trade. So if we have our valuation and I'm making a market based on the different risks at hand, I'm going to make my market wider for something more risky, tighter for something less risky. So an example of that would be, I don't know, apples. They're worth $4. I can buy them at 3, sell them at 5. I feel comfortable making a tight market around it. Everybody eats apples. I can get in and out of apple prices. Say something a bit more obscure, like, I don't know. I had a kale smoothie today. I didn't really like it, but kale smoothies, I would make that market a little wider. Not everyone likes kale smoothies. That's going to be hard to trade in and out of. I'm not sure, is this any good? My market's going to be a little wider. It's a bit riskier ordering a kale smoothie. So that's just kind of the 2 steps. You have your valuation, then the risk management. You then, as a market maker, decide how wide you want to make your market based on the risks at hand. Then the last step is execution, how we actually trade and take it all the way to the goal line. Based on your market, you're either going to get lifted or hit, and then you're in that trade. It sounds pretty simple, like you make a market and have it out there and then you make the trade. But as we mentioned, it's kind of a dynamic marketplace. So prices are moving, things are moving, news events are happening. You have to keep all these in mind when actually doing the execution, putting the trade in the system. And then you want to decide how much size you want to do. Is this a bigger trade? Do you like it a lot or do you like it a little? But those are kind of the 3 components of market making. And yeah, I'm going to pass it off to Jacob. He's going to talk a little bit about position taking.
Yeah, so the market making really is about setting yourself up best for an unknown. Whereas, like, people can come in, you don't necessarily get to pick who you're trading against. You do need to make sure that you're wary, sort of position agnostic. Position taking is very much different. There's a few different ways that we successfully are able to find what are good positions to take when looking at a market. So the first is pattern recognition. So this idea is finding things in the market that maybe they make sense, maybe they don't, but finding ways that we can get patterns and get edge into the market. So maybe we see after Burke buys a kale smoothie, he feels I felt really good about myself. I'm going to go buy a cookie for dessert or something like that. And so then we can say, okay, since Burke's going to buy a cookie, maybe we should go buy a cookie because we think the price of cookies would raise because we expect this position to hold. So the first would be recognizing the pattern. The next is once you see the pattern, you have to know okay, yes, this might be a pattern, but how much edge is there? How well do I think I'm actually going to do putting on this trade? Maybe there's a pattern that does exist, but if everyone else is doing it, maybe it actually doesn't make sense for me to join in the pattern. Maybe I can predict something, but if my systems aren't in line, or maybe I'm worried about the sizing I'd have to take or the risk I would have to put on, maybe I don't actually want the position. So it's about finding the right risk for the right amount of edge. And then the last is backtesting. Once you understand, okay, this is what's happening in the market, this is how much I want to take on, am I actually making this better? Hopefully it's as simple as this, where you have a blue line that outpaces the red line and you're like, great, I did it. I've made a good trade. It's really as simple as this, but definitely we might want to make sure we're backtesting. Sweet. So that's trading. In a nutshell, we have our market making and our position taking. But now Burke and I will lead you through trading yourselves.
Yes, so we're going to do a quick activity called Trade or Tighten, kind of compiling everything we've just talked about in the last 30 minutes or so. So Jacob and I are going to walk through an example. So we want to make a market and trade on the amount of hot dogs eaten at Wrigley Field in 2019. So the first step of making a market, you want to think your theoretical value. You don't really know how many hot dogs were eaten at Wrigley Field in 2019. If you do, that's shocking, but you kind of start with a few data points, right? So how many people go to games? How many games are there? There are 81 games, 81 home games. And I think there are about 30,000, 40,000 people who go to Cubs games.
Yeah,
right.
Something like that.
So you're thinking, how many of them eat a hot dog? Roughly, I don't know, maybe say 50%, 60% of the people at the games. So then you kind of have a rough theo or theoretical value, as we call it. And then you would make a market based around that value. Does that make sense to everyone? So I'll say 500,000 hot dogs at 2.5 million hot dogs.
Yeah. So what you've done is you've had your theoretical value. You've taken where you think the number of hot dogs is, but then you've taken into account the fact that you don't actually know. Like maybe 5% of people eat hot dogs. Maybe it's more. Maybe there's like some person who goes in and eats 20 every game, and you have to account for those types of people. So then you like take the uncertainty and you make the market like wider. So I would be a little bit more confident than Burke. 500,000 at 2.5 million seems like quite a lot. So I think I would make it maybe 750,000 at 1.5 million. So maybe that means like I'm a little bit more confident. It doesn't necessarily mean I have a different theoretical value than Burke. Like maybe we actually agree on the same value, but maybe the disagreement is how confident we are. I've maybe been to a few games. I see, people aren't getting up for a second hot dog. So I'm more sure and I can tighten the market.
Yes. So after Jacob tightens, it then goes back to me. Okay, how confident am I? He seems pretty confident. That's a pretty tight market. I'm also a White Sox fan. I go to a lot of White Sox games, so I don't really go to Wrigley that much. So I'm thinking, I probably can't tighten this anymore. I don't really have an idea within that. So I either sell Jacob on his bid. I think it's less than 750,000, or I buy his offer, which is 1.5 million. I think more than 1.5 million hot dogs are eaten. I'm going to lift his offer. I buy 1.5 million. I think more than 1.5 million hot dogs are eaten.
Yep. So now we'll go to the next slide and we'll settle it. But this is how the game works, and we'll have people tighten and like put on risk themselves. Maybe we'll make markets and other people can trade against them as well, so we can see what people are thinking. So this goes over like explaining how we got to our values. So the question here is, okay, yeah, there's the 80 home games, the people. So you get like the knowns, then you have your uncertainty for your question. And then because we're not super certain, we're going to go ahead and we're going to like take some width between the bid, which is the price that we're willing to buy, and the ask, which is the price that we're willing to sell. So the actual value is 1.2 million hot dogs eaten at Wrigley Field in 2019.
Yes. So Jacob's market was great. I guess lose the game because I thought it was more than 1.5. It's less. So now I've bought 1.5 million. It's actually worth less. That's a bad trade. Does everyone understand how the game works? Pretty simple. Hoping to get some participation from everyone. So if you feel like you can tighten the market, keep tightening it away until we trade it.
Yep. So the first one is, and these are like completely ridiculous. Like there's no way that you should actually know these values, by the way. So don't feel bad if your guesses are completely wrong. We intentionally pick things that don't make sense. Okay. Also, don't look them up. They are Googleable, but that would be lame. Cool. So the first one is, what is the record for most socks put on in a minute? So maybe we can talk through a little bit as we give people time in the chat. Like how would we go about thinking about a theoretical value for most socks? Burke, any hints here?
Yeah, so you got to keep in mind, it is a world record. So it's not you putting on these socks. It is someone who is trained, ready to get in the Guinness book, 60 seconds in a minute. Hard to think they would be putting on more than one sock a second. That seems pretty nuts. So I would start with my offer at 60 and then kind of work my way down as I'm thinking about, okay, it's got to be more than 30, right? Because it is a record. So 30, 60 is kind of my wide market. Keep it on the high side, but don't have a lot of certainty. Maybe I tightened it to 35, 55.
Okay, well, it looks like you'd have someone trade against you. We have someone in the chat, Jesus Roy said 120 at 180, thinking 2 socks a minute at 3, or 2 socks a second at 3 socks a second. That'd be quite fast. We also have a few people putting like numbers in, individual numbers, which maybe that's like their guess, but what we want to do is give a 2-sided market. So it's a price that I'm willing to buy and a price I'm willing to sell. You wouldn't want to give a single number because if you give a single number, then that will like give you no spread. So there's nothing that you can collect. You're just sitting out there with risk for no credit. Anyway, we had a few guesses so far. We'll give a few more seconds. Someone said that is some fast sock action. I thought that was funny. Okay, another market coming in, 40 at 65, 60 at 100. Okay, we have a few trades in here. We have some crossed markets. It looks like the consensus is about that 1 sock per second though. Should we see how it settles?
Yeah, let's see it.
All right, it settles to 52 socks.
Okay.
There you go. We had a few really good guesses. One of them was 54 socks was the person's Theo. They had the market of 40 at 65. That was a tight and accurate market. It was good.
Yeah, wow, you nailed it. Yeah.
Oh, we also have someone in the chat who thinks that they could beat the record, saying that they could win.
I like it. I like it. We got some go-getters.
I can't wait for the Team Liquid event to be the like thing that led you on to be a Guinness Book of the World Record holder. Best of luck. Cool. So the next one is most people in a Mini Cooper. Normally we get a lot of questions about this one. So I do have some contract specifications that I can give. All the seats were removed in the Mini Cooper. The people did go in the Mini Cooper. All of the doors were closed. I do believe they also included the trunk. So if any of those pieces of information help you with your theoretical value or how much uncertainty, there you go. Also, it's the most people, so they didn't pick like, WWE fighters or like, linebackers in football. They did like, they picked people to try to fit in.
Okay, 15 at 25 opening market. That's good. I like that. I like where your head's at.
So 15 at 25, if other people want to trade against that market, they could, or they could tighten the market. And if they want to tighten, then they would be the ones who are now like the market maker. Burke, how many socks do you think you could put on in a minute if you were to
That's a
do it?
good question. I can put on socks pretty fast.
Okay.
I've been running late to work a few times and it's like 2 and 3 seconds. So, hoping 30 plus.
Yeah.
I'm not world record territory, but I think I get 30.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so I see someone else has the market 20 at 30. So that means now the tightest market would be 20 at 25. So we'll take like the best bid from someone and the best ask from someone. We have a pretty tight market here. I want to see if anyone wants to trade against this market. 20 at 25. Burke, would you lean one way or the other?
I'd probably sell 20s.
Okay.
I think it's probably less than 20.
Okay.
Haven't seen a Mini Cooper in a while though, so my frame of reference a little off. Yeah, around 20 is pretty good. 20 at 25 is tight market though. I like where we're headed.
For sure. Julia, what would you do if you were this market? 20 at 25, how many people do you think would fit into a Mini Cooper?
It has to be more than
25
or even 20. I don't know.
Okay.
We have someone else coming in buying. We can settle the market here. Let's see. 28 people.
28. Okay. Nice.
So people were actually like pretty spot on, actually.
Yeah, I'm getting a little suspicious, but we'll keep going. Jesus Roy's had some good markets, some tight markets.
Well, he said 120 socks at 180 socks. So
true. Yeah, he was way up. I think maybe he went to Google after that one. He was like, I got to sharpen it up.
Very, very true. All right. Cool. The next one, most people in a pillow fight. Now, this one I have no specifications for, so I'm very sorry. I don't know anything about the pillow fight. So you're really just gonna have to guess.
Yeah. How many people can you get on board with that? How many people would be like, hey, meet me at this place. We're setting the record for a pillow fight.
I actually think that the opening market that we have is perfect. 200 at 10,000. That's perfect. Like,
nice and wide.
Yeah, that
I like it.
If anyone trades it with you, I'm gonna go ahead and let you know you would be right. It is between those two values, but you're so wide. that you don't have any risk, but also people are not likely to trade against you. Anyone want to be tighter than 200 at 10,000? It's quite a wide market. Maybe this one's too uncertain. Maybe it's too hard to guess. Okay, tightening a bit to 2,000 at 8,000. Making jokes about whether a stadium was involved. That is true, actually. I found a lot of these like world records are set by like people who happen to be at a soccer game, that they're just like, okay, now let's do this. And like, it's the most like people to dance or something. Not the case here. 2,000 to 8,000 is the tightest market. Is that enticing yet, Burke, or is it still too wide for you?
I think that's a little wide.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's got to be more than 2,000 personally. I would go ahead and improve the bid to at least like 5,000 people. I mean, that's like a small college. You can get that many people.
Yeah. 5,000, 8,000. I think that's a pretty good market. I'm not going to tighten that.
Okay.
Does anybody want to trade that market?
Yeah, we'll give a few more seconds to see if anyone wants to trade against it. 5,000 to 8,000. You know what? I'm feeling generous. I'm a market maker at heart. I'll be 5,000 at 6,000 if anyone wants to trade.
Nice, providing liquidity.
That's what I'm here for, Bert.
Yeah.
Someone asked if it was a bring your own pillow event. You'd have to imagine that you're bringing your own pillows. All right, 5,000 at 6,000. We'll close the market in a few seconds. Closing bell coming in 3, 2, 1. It settles to 6,261 people. Looks like
Wow.
quite the event.
Good market, Jacob. That was exceptional market.
Well, I do know the answers.
True.
But thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, I think this is the last one that we have for the market making activity.
Yeah, last one, then we'll get into some questions. So let's get the participation out. What do we think? Highest jump on a pogo stick? Can you pogo? Have you ever pogo?
I have actually tried to pogo before. I have tried it. I think the highest I got was not off the ground. I don't actually think I successfully got off the ground, but I did.
It's hard. It's kind of hard.
Yes, I definitely did not land. Maybe I got off the ground, but definitely fell. Have you ever? What is a unit of measurement? That's actually a great question. Burke, do you know what the unit is?
Unit of measurement. I would probably guess meters.
Yeah. What, Julia?
This one's feet.
Oh, in feet. Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah, that's great. You know, I love the question in the chat. That is a good contract specification. Like, what are we trading? Like, you could say 5 at 8, but what does that mean? Like, we need to know what terms.
Yep.
We can also convert if feet's too like American centric. I can like type it in my phone real quick if people want to give meters.
Yeah.
Meter markets. All right, first market coming out, 10 at 15 feet. We have a 10 feet question mark.
Yeah, that's pretty high. I'd be scared.
I don't really remember what this answer is. I believe it's less than 10 feet. I would be really surprised if it was 10 feet high. That seems incredibly high.
Okay, 7 at 12. It's a good market.
7-12. Nice market.
So 10-12 is the final market.
Does anyone want to trade 10-12? Oh, now it's 10 at 10.5. We had
10.5, yeah.
All right. Oh, and selling 10. Wow.
Selling 10. You destroy. I like it.
Some exciting market action. All right, we're settling the market. let's see. Oh, 11.2 feet.
Good markets, guys.
Wow, I actually had misremembered that. I thought that it was 7 feet, and I thought I knew the answer. So there you go. All right, well, there you go. That is our market making activity. Teaches you a little bit about what it would be like to be a trader, you know, dealing around uncertainty, thinking in bets, and how you can deal with that. Now we'll open it up to some questions. We can type in the chat. I hope you all had fun doing the market making activity. It's super fun to lead and see what people's guesses are for these random things.
Jacob, I'm not able to see the questions, so if you want to just read them out, and anything recruiting, I can definitely tackle.
Yep. I think we'll give people a few seconds if there are questions. Oh, sweet. People had fun. Thank you. That's great.
Cool. I like that question. How much stress realistically? Hard to quantify stress. I mean, every day is different, but when it's busy, like the markets are really moving, I can't speak for Jacob, but I'm like dripping sweat. I am like so stressed, like super locked in, super stressful when it's moving like that. But I mean, day to day, it's pretty low key. It's pretty chill company. A lot of smart people you work around. You're never alone on a problem. You're never on an island like trying to dig yourself out of a hole. So it's stressful, but when it's fun, so it's kind of both, you know, when it's active, it's stressful, but it's also fun to be in the game.
Yeah, I would say we do a really good job of putting things in place. Our systems are in place to give us the best chance possible to interact with trades. So that doesn't mean that like there's never stress. But like the stress on a daily basis does not mean like, you know, something goes wrong and it's like full on panic. Like our systems are really top tier. They're like top of class. And so I think that like probably gets rid of the stress. I know like thinking just in terms of like portrayals in media or whatnot, like I would say it's not that stressful. Like trading is not what you see in like, you know, movies and whatnot. Another question.
Follow-up question. Go ahead, Jacob.
I was gonna answer. Are you friends with your coworkers even outside of work? Yeah, I'm a big fan of the people at IMC. I really do like them a lot. We play basketball in a park like on the weekends. We go to dinner. Like we hang out. We go to concerts. Like I really do like you know, the people I work with. It's also nice because you start with a class of people. So we all start in August or February. I started in August. So speaking from personal experience, I feel really close to the people that I'm like associated with in that same class. Like we hang out still, and we're like really good friends. So it's pretty unique, I think, to get to start with such a cool group of people and all be going through the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, I would second that. I trained fall of 2018, and a few of the people I train with, I don't work with day to day or really talk too much at work. We're really tight. We do things socially. The immediate people on my team, I'm really tight with, despite some age differences here and there. You know, those are guys I will hang out on Saturday with and watch games. And it's a really cool culture at IMC, and definitely the friendships, not that they're pushed on anyone or anything like that, but they just kind of naturally grow. And I think everyone at the company kind of has their own intercompany relationships. Definitely very common to fraternize with people outside of work.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. Next question. Do you guys work normally, relatively normal hours or all over the place? Do you want to take
Really
that?
normal? Yeah. Super chill hours. I've worked really bad hours before at other places. So IMC is just awesome with that. The work-life balance, you get a ton of time off. I've never worked a weekend a day in my 3 years at IMC. Pretty much know when I'm gonna get off every night, unless I have like extra work. That's completely personal. I'm not like doing it for anybody or anything like that. I think the hours and the work-life balance are kind of unmatched in the industry.
Yeah, we really do care about our people here. And so like we want to make sure that, you know, like you don't just have like work, it is a work-life balance. So it's like, taking time off, like making sure like when you're off, you're like signed off, like you're not coming in. The only time I've gone to the office on the weekend is because I left my wallet there and I needed it. But yeah, like I would say, like normal hours, like it is not like, it's not crazy. The trading day for me at least is 8:30 to 3. And so like, you're in a little bit before that for news and a little bit after for analysis, but it's not, it's not anything bad. Burke, pretty interesting question maybe for you. How do
I
people
saw
settle
that.
arguments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you settle arguments people would disagree on a market? A lot of different ways. I can't swear on the Twitch stream, but there's usually a lot of swearing involved. It depends. It depends on the nature of the trade. Is it a really bad disagreement where one side is potentially out millions of dollars? Then we got a big problem. If it's something minor, like, hey, I meant to say 710 instead of 720, it's kind of just like, you have that sales relationship where it's like, hey, if we're working together every day, mistakes happen, that's fine. But on the bigger, juicier trades where one side is typically going to eat an error, it can often be raised to people above my pay grade. Like, how are we going to handle this? So definitely variable.
Yeah, I would say like there's also like a lot of data that's used at IMC. So one of the other question is like, do you use a lot of math as a part of your job? So like I do typically use like a lot of math. We're doing a lot of analysis and stuff like that. And so, if there are disagreements, I think like they're hopefully like evidence based. And then like, we'll try stuff out. So maybe that means like we'll try one thing one day and one thing another. If it's like a one-time opportunity, we'll like discuss it. But a lot of like, yeah, I think one cool thing about IMC is that it's a place where the best ideas are put forward, not necessarily like depending on who it comes from. And so just because we have like, people who have been here longer, if you have the best argument, if you can back up your argument with data, like people will hear you and they're excited to like have new ideas. So I would say, there's disagreement, but we try to keep it as civil as possible.
What is the value of an MBA? I will say from experience, the amount of people I know with an MBA is small to none. Mm-hmm. An MBA it's a lot more classroom knowledge that's applicable to a lot of other fields, I would argue. The best asset a trader can have, I'd say, is experience. The more you've experienced, the more you've been in the game, in the heat of it, the more equipped you are for your future. When it comes to an MBA, there's just not a lot of practical knowledge you're going to gain for trading. You might learn how to price an option in an Excel spreadsheet or something like that, but actually trading, managing position, making money, that'd be more applicable to other fields like consulting or banking.
Yep. And I would say, like you said, experience is important. I think one really cool thing about IMC is that you don't have to have experience to join. I personally joined having never done anything in trading. I literally had no idea what an option was on the first day that I started. IMC has a global traineeship and a global like course to like get you up to speed that is like top of class within our industry. We are a place where like, we believe that we can teach people like all of the skills they need to know, and like people don't need to be intimidated just because they don't have this experience. Experience is super helpful, but it's not like a prerequisite to apply. So definitely don't like disregard trading just because you don't know it already. Our global traineeship is pretty sick.
Yeah.
Cool.
AI, how much AI machine learning?
There's some like I would say a lot of what we do does not necessarily deal with AI and machine learning, but we are like working in that space a bit. We have like some like natural language processing stuff and stuff like that, but like there's like I would say that's not like the primary focus, but I do think that is like super cool, and I'm like, yeah, I'm very interested in that sort of stuff. So who knows, maybe we'll incorporate more of it as we go.
Do you do a lot of math as a part of your job? I'd say, yeah, not like anything crazy though. I mean, most of the math is done for us with the technology we have, but there'll be quick calculations you need to do, kind of keep in your head. It becomes second nature though, the more you do it. But yeah, it's mathy. I think trading in general is kind of mathy, and options especially, but day to day, I'm not like knocking myself out with math problems.
Yes, no calculus textbook has been like brought into the office. We do have quants that do work on like pricing problems, and like, you know, that is like explicitly math. But I would say like normal day to day for trading is not like dealing with you know, heavy math. Cool. Other question: how do traders look at the hypes in the crypto world and NFTs?
Yeah, I mean, people are pretty tuned into that.
Yeah.
I think crypto as a field is really just starting to scratch the surface in terms of like institutional trading, high frequency firms. A few of our competitors were in that space early, and they've really built a robust platform. You know, from our goals with cryptos, NFTs, I can't really speak on that, but I will tell you, cryptos, NFTs, something that all traders are tuned into. A lot of guys I work with in like the peak crypto punks craze, like I think it was like a year ago, coming in, bloodshot eyes, like what's going on? You look like you didn't sleep. It's like, well, yeah, I've been trading crypto punks all night. Like, so I mean, a lot of people do actively trade it and hold positions. And yeah, it's talk of town.
Yeah, it definitely like pops up. You know, we'll have like things that hold crypto. So like certain companies will just like buy crypto and that's all they have. So like for that, like we're directly relating to it. But it's also just interesting trends in the market. And you'd be surprised at the connections that you see between like, you know, hype in crypto and like other trends, yeah, other trends in the like market.
Yeah.
I see another question. How long is a traineeship, and do you get a mentor through the program? Yeah, Julia, do you want to talk through the like traineeship part of it?
Yeah, definitely. The traineeship program, like we mentioned, is a global traineeship. So you have the opportunity to start in either Amsterdam or Sydney. That's a huge selling point. So we always talk a little bit about that. Specifically, the program is 6 to 8 weeks with formalized classroom training that's led by our traders and our engineers. Additionally, after that period, there's also a 4-month onboarding period. And during that time, you start to work on more real life projects. You start making an impact. You have a mentor that you work really closely with. And they're going to ensure that you have all the resources and feedback you need to be successful at IMC. Once you finish that onboarding period, that's when you're assigned to one of the trading desks, one of our 3 trading desks, and you start working more and more independently, although you still have, you know, your desk lead there as support, as well as a mentor who you're working with.
Yeah, I really do. I appreciated the support. I felt like there are a ton of people who really wanted to contribute to my success, and I'm really fortunate for that. You know, as someone with no experience, it was really helpful to have that person who was, you know, like experienced, who can like tell you like, oh, here's like, you know, this might be a mistake, or like this is better, and be able to like talk you through these things.
Yeah, the training program itself is, I mean, world class. Like, and that's not hyping it up too much. Having worked other places, not a ton of experience to options, came to IMC. 8 weeks later, I'm in a floor setting trading options knowledgeably. That's pretty hard to do. You're not going to see that in a lot of other places. And you also get to go to Amsterdam, which I had never been to Amsterdam. That was a breathtaking experience for me. That was awesome.
Yeah, their office is so cool. So
Yeah,
is
it's wild.
ours, but their office is like so it's like a spaceship almost. Anyway,
Yeah.
we also had another question from Ruben asking if they wanted to start jumping into trading, what would be the best way to start and how to work with IMC. If they want to work with IMC, I would say apply. Other advice for how to work with IMC?
Yeah, I mean, specific to IMC, we have our application process, yada yada. we can talk about that. But specifically to trading and just getting interested in trading, I would probably start with some literature. If you're interested, I can even put my email in here and you can ask. But a lot of books have a lot of good resources. And then the best way is to trade. Obviously, I'm not trying to solicit anybody to put their life savings into an account and put it all on red, but getting in the game, understanding how to hold stocks, kind of feeling out the market, following it day to day, you get a lot better understanding of kind of how trading works. And yeah, it's the best way is to trade, but obviously start small.
Yeah, we're actively interviewing right now for both full-time trader roles, quant trader roles, and also our internship program. So definitely recommend that you guys apply sooner rather than later. And then as part of just a high-level overview of the recruitment process, the first step is an online assessment that will evaluate general aptitude and algorithmic skills. And then after that, we have a virtual interview conducted using a one-way video platform. So again, answering a few technical questions. After that is a live video interview with a quant trader, and then our final round, which is 2 more technical interviews and a behavioral interview as well.
Yep. I know that it's like now our time. Yep. I don't know if there are any other questions, but if not, it was great to talk to you all via the stream. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was fun. That was one of the better ones I've done. So that was really great. Appreciate the participation as well in the game. Everyone was engaged, and yeah, that was super cool. If you guys have any other questions, I know it's kind of different in a group setting. You can reach out to us directly afterwards. I'm totally comfortable answering anything. Feel free to ask whatever. And yeah, if anyone has anything else.
Thanks, guys, for having us.